Week 14, fantasy football. That means the playoffs are just around the corner. Some of those deep leagues, some people, I don't know, maybe just traditionalists, maybe your playoffs already started. Who knows? But either way, we are the end game. I'm Pierre, and he is Chris. We're here to break down, first of all the injuries that matter and get you ready for this coming week with start to set advice. That means you get to ask us questions and we give you our answers. That's kind of how it works. So before we get started with the injury report, couple of disclaimers we always like to make. First of all, give us as much detail as possible when you're asking your question. We need to know if it's PPR, non-PPR, half PPR, dynasty, whatever, right? The more detail you give us, the better we can answer your question. Also, there's a good chance we won't get to every single question because we're going to have a lot, I guarantee you this week especially, but we can never get to every single question. Unfortunately, we do our best. You can use the super chat feature to kind of skip the line there, or you can become a patron and find information on that below. So anyways, I'm going to start here. Chris, any other words of wisdom to add?
Words of wisdom. Dodge all these crazy injuries. That's the skill of fantasy football this time of year, right? Just dodge all the injuries.
I don't know who said it, but it's been said it's basically a war of attrition. Whoever survives to the finish line. I think this year, more than ever, that's really true, especially with COVID knocking some key players out, which we'll mention in a second. Like who has the healthiest team standing, and it really is. I mean, we already know it's a lot of luck combined with skill, maybe more luck than skill, arguably. Especially this year. If you somehow don't have multiple players in the IR, then you've been lucky. All right. Speaking of IR, let's start with the latest news. Just found this out within the past hour, happened to see a notification. So just when you thought Elijah Moore, exciting rookie from New York Jets, was coming on and going to be a every week must start, maybe able to help you win your league down the stretch, then you are sorely mistaken. He is not only going to miss this week, he is now on the injured reserve. That's right. So goodbye, Elijah Moore. You had a nice part of your rookie season, but it is over now, at least for fantasy. I mean, I don't even know. Is he even able to come back for the last week? I think technically, right?
He's eligible to come back technically week 17. So he could play in the fantasy championships, but that's best case scenario.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the Jets now
Jets are going to be out of it. So if he's not,
why would they? And it was surprising because this is we didn't even know it was a serious injury. Like coming out of the game, it's a quad injury. Is that what it is?
Yeah, he had a quad injury.
So usually not something that lands you in IR right away. I almost wonder, could, not that any team within the NFL would tank, but could the Jets be preserving their rookies and maybe playing it safe down the stretch and playing for next year and not worry too much about winning these last few games? Could it be possible? Anyways, think about it. Elijah Moore not playing. Michael Carter also on IR not playing. The Jets are down quite a few pieces. Corey Davis also on IR. You probably already knew that. He's definitely not playing. So fire up Jamison Crowder.
Yeah.
If anyone, or just avoid the Jets completely. Now, another big one that happened just today, Darrell Henderson thought he might trend towards playing. He was technically active last week, but didn't play because they just didn't need him. He's definitely not playing this week. He has been ruled out. So a whole lot of Sonny Michel is going to be coming. So no Henderson, get him out of your lineup. I would say fire. I mean, not as confident as last week based on the matchup, but you feel pretty good about Michel?
Yeah, I still feel pretty good. I have him in that, I don't know, probably. I mean, I haven't looked at all the running, probably in that like 12 to 15 range. Because the matchup's not as good. And my main worry this week is that it's that they just throw the ball a ton against Arizona. That's just a back and forth, high scoring. But yeah, still a good start. Still a good start for sure.
And that's the thing is it's easy to say, well, it's going to be a high scoring game. Maybe it will, maybe it won't be, but we know what the Rams do is in tough games, they sometimes tend to abandon the run. That's the thing is you worry that they're just not going to stick with him. And they could definitely afford to do that last week. So, and apologies, I think I said Sonny and I'm just so trained to do that. Sony Michel.
Yeah. I don't even try to say his first name anymore. I just say Michel.
I should have known better. All right, Keenan Allen, another big one on the COVID list. He has been officially declared out. But skipping ahead a little bit, Mike Williams, good news, he's in. He did clear because he was just a close contact. He's got negative tests, so he is going to play. And he's going to be on the field without Keenan Allen. So that's interesting. All right, Elijah Mitchell, very disappointed here. He's also going to be out. We'll see about next week. I hope he's clear for next week. But for now, no Mitchell. Yes, Jeff Wilson. Although I say yes, I just mean yes, he's going to be the starter, not yes, play him, because I'm not. But we'll get to that in a second. We'll see if anybody is brave enough to fire him up this week. DeAndre Swift, not active again. Didn't figure he would be. Jamal Williams, also not active. Chris, you've, out of sheer desperation, had to stoop to the level of playing Jamar Jefferson. Is he the guy to go to in Detroit, if anybody?
I think so. I know a lot of people like the guy's name that I can't pronounce, that I can never pronounce, and I'm not going to do it because then I'll get a bunch of comments about how bad I pronounce his name. But they like him because, what's that?
Godwin is his first name, not Mr. Godwin, not Chris Godwin, but Godwin Ogwebike.
Okay, I'll just call him by his first name. That's easier. Because he did catch, he's technically the pass catching back. But if you look at last week when all three were healthy, talking about Jamal, Jefferson, and Godwin, Jefferson was the guy who was running second to Jamal. And it wasn't like he didn't catch any passes or he can't catch passes. So I do think Jefferson will be the quote unquote lead guy here. So I guess, I do like him a little more, but I don't love, it's Denver. It's not a great matchup. I mean, it's a league where I was not allowed to draft a running back until round 7 or 8. So I lost Elijah Mitchell and Michael Carter. So I'm pretty much hurting at running back.
Yeah, I'm glad you painted the picture of how much desperation was in there, because this is not a like, hey guys, sneaky start. No. It's like, no, if you literally have zero other options, like that would be the guy, because at least he's, I guess, the starter. Yeah. Same with Jeff Wilson. But look, and also talk about not out yet officially, but pretty sure because he's listed as doubtful. TJ Hawkinson, doubtful, doesn't look like he'll play. He didn't practice all week at all, did he?
No, not looking good for Hawkinson. So if you have Hawkinson, get a backup plan ready.
So no Swift, no Williams, no Hawkinson going against Denver. This is definitely a team you should avoid just completely on offense if possible. But look, Jefferson, I do agree. He's probably going to be the lead guy. He had a few nice carries a few weeks back. He had a game where he looked like he might be decent, and then he got hurt. So he didn't get a chance to come back in. But, you could do worse, I guess.
True.
Possibly. Darren Waller, also out. We'll see if he comes back next week. We did hear he was week to week, and this is not the week, but maybe next week. But this is not the week. So Waller is out. Foster Moreau, he's playable if you need. Tevin Coleman also out. Already talked about the Jets. So no Coleman, no Michael Carter already. Ty Johnson probably will be the starter, but that also leaves Austin Walter, who kind of got a lot of reps surprisingly for some reason 2 weeks ago. I would just avoid that backfield. I feel pretty confident you'll agree with that.
Yeah, against the Saints, no thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, and by the way, against the top of the run defense. So yeah. And no passing game. All right, David Njoku has been ruled out. COVID issue there. Kadarius Toney looks like he is out. Sterling Shepard, though, and who was the other Giants receiver? Someone else questionable, right? It was Sterling Shepard is questionable. He's been practicing, but he hasn't been declared officially good to go. And Kenny Golladay, I think, is also questionable. But I'm tempted with Mike Glennon maybe starting, because he's questionable too, to just say, let's just avoid this whole receiving core, because that's pretty much what I said a couple of weeks ago. And I don't feel too strongly to go against that.
Yeah, you got to be pretty desperate to start any of these Giants receivers. So, yeah.
All right. So no Toney, definitely no Toney. And I think we're going to go #never Toney for this year, at least anyways, even if he does play. I'm not interested. Randall Cobb is also out. And sadly, just when you thought you could plug Adrian Peterson back in your lineup, he is also out. Remember, he plays for Seattle this time.
Yes.
No Peterson, no Travis Homer too, by the way. So that means that they're down to just Rashad Penny and I think Alex Collins are their only healthy running backs. If you had to flip a coin and pick one, which one would you pick?
Rashad Penny. Definitely. Not that I'm excited about Rashad Penny, but we've seen Alex Collins. He brings nothing. He's
Yeah.
just an average running back. So maybe Penny has some juice at least.
Let's just say there's a reason they brought Adrian Peterson in, right? When they already had Alex Collins. So those are the ones we've seen out. Again, if we have anything breaking during the show, we'll let you know. I already talked about Hawkinson doubtful. Tony Pollard with that plantar fasciitis also listed as doubtful, not officially out. It would be surprising if he played, but we have heard that it's possible if he gets an injection and just deals with it. But even if he does, you don't want him in your lineup.
No, we're gonna probably see. They called up a practice squatter to the active roster, so that's never a good sign.
Yeah.
So we're probably going to see Zeke with almost every single snap on one knee. So we'll get to see how healthy or unhealthy that knee really is.
You have Zeke as a must start, not just for that reason, but I actually think it's a good matchup for him. But that's for another time. Questionable. Please, please, please let Deebo Samuel play. Please. Right now, we don't know. So you do have to check game time reports. We'll see what happens. I have the feeling it sounds like they're leaning towards putting him in, but don't take my word for it because I'm not an insider for the 49ers. So Deebo, hopefully he plays. Brandon Cooks also questionable. Doesn't matter. I have him as one of my busts this week. If you didn't catch that video, check it out. JD McKissick also questionable. Guys who are not questionable, definitely going to have Mike Williams back, like I mentioned, because Keenan Allen is out. Alvin Kamara, thank God, one running back is healthy. But also Mark Ingram, if I remember, he's officially out, right?
He's officially out, yes.
Okay, so there you go. Kamara comes back and with no Ingram. And, oh, by the way,
the Jets.
So he's going to be worth every cent in DFS, I think. And then last but not least, y'all were waiting for this. Allen Robinson, he's back.
Also, Julio Jones back. I don't think he made the list, but Julio Jones activated off IR. So,
there you go. Save the best for last. That's why you were doing it. I bet we'll have some Julio Jones questions just because it's the Jags and they have nobody else on offense. So we'll see. All right. So those are the official injury reports that we have right now. Again, keep updated here if anything happens. Also, if you haven't joined our Discord for some reason, you can do that absolutely free. We do have a breaking news #news channel. And I'll tell you what, I have disabled my Twitter notifications and my other injury news because somebody, either Chris usually or Nate, will post the news as soon as it breaks. And I'll see it first on our Discord. I'm not even exaggerating. I'm telling you, right? That's usually how it works.
Yeah, you guys get in the Discord. It's totally free. The link's down below. It's amazing. It'll help you for your championship run here. So no reason not to be in there.
And if you have a start sit question before Saturday, after Saturday, you put it in there anytime throughout the whole week. Somebody, if not one of us, somebody will give you advice. All right. So there you go. We have all that covered. It's time for the questions. Let's fire away.
All right. We got a super chat right off the bat. Thank you, MK. He's asking who to drop to pick up a kicker. Ramondre Stevenson, A. Brown. I'm going to assume Antonio. Carter. I'm going to assume Michael Carter or Jamal Williams. I'm going to say Antonio Brown. I'm going to say you can drop Antonio.
Drop Antonio Brown. 3 games is like the minimum he's going to be out. And then if he returns to the Bucks, that's an if, right? Will he play for Arians? And then if he doesn't, you shouldn't care anyway. So you can drop Antonio Brown. Yeah,
I think you can drop Antonio Brown. Definitely. Then another super chat. Toozer, thinking about starting JWJ. Why can't I think who JWJ is? Jeff Wilson Jr. Jeff Wilson over Chuba Hubbard. Am I out of my mind? I think you are, personally.
Yeah, look, I think I've been saying since before Jeff Wilson did come back, everyone's going to go too crazy for him because of what happened last year when he had that one monster game. And what has he done since then?
Yeah. And Chuba, it's Atlanta. I know everybody's worried about Amir Abdullah. Amir Abdullah might catch some passes, but Chuba's going to catch some passes too, and he's going to get the bulk of the run. And it's Atlanta. So, yeah. You
had Hubbard as one of your strong starts this week at running back.
Yeah, I like him. I mean, I don't love him, but I think he's solid. Again, the matchup is just too good, and I don't think Amir Abdullah is going to have the run people think he's going to have. I think Yeah, he'll catch some passes, but he's not going to be getting 10 plus carries. So
No, exactly. He's just a pass catcher. But Wilson, the thing is, what he's done this year, really not much. So
yeah,
if we're holding on to starting Jeff Wilson, it's just because he's a starting running back, on a decent team, or just because we're holding on to last year. So I wouldn't put Wilson in unless you really have no choice.
and then one more super chat from MK, a tight end question. Hooper, who looks kind of interesting now with Njoku out. Komet, Seals Jones, or Ingram in full PPR.
And I swear, speaking of the Discord, we've gotten so many questions about those three guys,
Yeah.
right? And then Ingram is kind of sprinkled in there. We've got a lot of RSJ questions. He's interesting because Logan Thomas is now out. Also, by the way, I guess we didn't mention that, but I think y'all know already from last week because we talked about it, my injury report, waiver wire video, Logan Thomas done for the year. Seals Jones was okay, right? In the middle of the season when he came in, coverage for Thomas. He was fine. He's startable. I get that none of your choices are great there, but he's not, he doesn't have the upside. Like I like Hooper. I guess that's my short answer, because the Ravens bottom 4, I think, against tight ends fantasy points this year, but also we know that secondary is wiped out from injuries. They become really, right, a funnel defense the last 4 games. So Hooper, you know what? It's not a safe play, but really are any of those guys safe plays?
No. Yeah, I like Hooper's upside this week in that matchup. So that's where I would go as well. Now that Njoku has officially been ruled out, that's where I would go.
Right. And even the third string tight end, Harrison Bryant, I think he's out too, or he's questionable at least.
There you go. And they don't have any other receivers. They have Landry and Peoples. I mean, really, it's should be a good spot for Hooper. We'll see.
Yeah.
All right, Michael Dawes, what's going on, Michael? Melvin Gordon thoughts this coming week. Yeah, we didn't mention Melvin Gordon. He's questionable, I think.
Again, I don't know. Maybe it's not official, but we keep hearing leaning towards playing, like he's probably playing. It sounds like it's a fairly good shot. I think if they had it, they would say probable, right? That might be his designation.
Yeah. I think if he plays, it's going to be similar to what we've seen all year. Maybe Javante's a little bit more ahead of him after last week, but I still think it's going to be more of a split.
I think it's going to be basically what it has been, because we all want Javonte Williams to play more, and we know Javonte Williams is just the eye test and the stats, right? He's averaging more yards per carry, all the broken tackles. It's like he maybe is the better running back at this point, but that's not how, like Chris, you always love to say, that's not how NFL head coaches think, right?
Exactly.
They don't go crazy for highlights and advanced stats. They have their guys that they trust. It's going to be Gordon is kind of the slight 1A to the 1B for Javonte. And it's a great matchup, and they should have no problem running the ball this game. So I actually like Gordon quite a bit. I have him as a pretty solid RB2 this week.
I agree. All right, we got a super chat from CaliBoy58. Pick 3, Chuba Hubbard, Jeff Wilson, Nick Chubb, Sony Michel. Well, I'm going to say not Jeff Wilson out of that group.
Yeah. I mean, if it's just those choices, yeah. And I know it, based on what I just said, Chubb really is not in a great spot, but you still have to start him compared to those guys. And we already said Hubbard over Wilson. And now that we know Sony's got the backfield to himself, yeah, not Wilson.
Yeah. And user, it's kind of creative name I would come up with. Is Justin Jackson a good stash with Eckler's injury history? Do you think Jackson would even lead the backfield? They have a great playoff running back schedule.
I think they would just pass the ball 50 times. I mean,
yeah,
Jackson has never been a guy who's gotten volume, even if Eckler's been hurt. It'll be like 10 carries to Jackson, 5 carries to Kelly, 5 to Roundtree. Jackson, we've seen he's had chances, even when he does stay healthy, which is that hard I'm doing. There's not enough upside. I'd look elsewhere. Yeah,
the Chargers one of those teams where there's not a guy I think you need to add behind the running back because none of them are very, very good, and they probably won't just lean on one guy. So I agree. Don't need to add him. Tyler Foley, super chat. Good to see you. Started Osborne. Nice, very nice. So needs one and a flex between DK Metcalf, Debo if he plays, Ayuk and Gage. Well, I think we both agree if Debo plays, it's Metcalf and Debo, right?
Absolutely, yeah. Debo if he plays, no brainer.
Let's just help him out here. If Debo doesn't play, who do we like better between Ayuk and Gage?
That's pretty close. I'm gonna lean towards Ayuk because especially we're saying, well, if Debo doesn't play, then that helps Ayuk. But
Yeah.
also, I know Gage had a huge game. I'm expecting less so this week because obviously not as good a matchup. I really don't expect a lot of points in that game. A lot of times, bad teams get together. Is it because they have bad offense or bad defense? Well, usually it's both. In this case, Atlanta is a little bit more. Honestly, it's a little bit more their offense. I know their defense isn't good, but they're not been putting up a lot of points lately. Carolina, it's their offense. I think these are going to be teams that try to slow the pace down. We're going to see Carolina run the ball more because that's what he's come out and said. That's what he wants to do. So I don't think there's just going to be as much opportunity. So I would definitely go with the upside of Ayuk.
Yeah, I agree. If Debo plays, you go Metcalf, Debo, no problem. If Debo's out, you go Ayuk. All right, John Kelly, Jeff Wilson or Russell Gage, half PPR.
Stick to what I've been saying, right? Jeff Wilson. We got a lot of Jeff Wilson questions. He's going to be the guy this week, right?
Yeah.
I'm not going to change the way I feel about him. I get he's starting, but he's kind of just a guy. It's not like he's going against this, really soft. If he was going against the Jets, yeah, maybe I'd feel differently, but he's not. So I'm gonna go with Gage. I know I don't love Gage this week, but I like him better than Wilson.
Yeah, I agree. I don't love Gage this week either, but I don't really like Wilson this week. I wish it was full PPR to feel a little better about Gage, but even in half, I probably still give him the edge. All right, Mark Pedri. I don't know if I'm pronouncing your last name right. I know you're on here all the time. Appreciate it. With Cup, not 100%, because I don't know if you guys heard, Cup is dealing with some kind of toe issue, but I don't think it's anything. Would you consider flexing CD, Gibson, or Montgomery in full PPR? Well, I would. If you're asking about those guys over Cup, I would not. I would play Cup.
And I want to say I saw the Cup, wasn't he a full participant on Friday? I don't think we didn't even mention him because it's not an issue. He's playing.
Yeah, you play Cup. If Cup's on the field, you play Cup. Like the only person I would consider playing over Cup in the flex would be Jonathan Taylor. And if you have Jonathan Taylor and Cooper Kupp, you should be playing both of them. You shouldn't be in a league where you have to make that decision anyways.
Yeah, so I'm thinking about he's asking to put any of those three guys over Cup. Is he saying that he's got to keep those guys on the bench?
I don't know, because he said with Cup not 100%, would you consider flexing CD, Gibson, or Montgomery in full PPR? So it sounds like Cup is in his flex, which I don't even understand because it's impossible to have two wide receivers better than Cup because there aren't two wide receivers better than Cup.
I'm not to think about that one, but if Cup, just keep Cup in your lineup, and you should be starting all of those players, hopefully. But I don't know.
All right, this is my kind of question right here. User. How about Ronald Jones or P. Ryan stash for the playoffs? That's what I'm talking about. Handcuff stashes for the playoffs. That's what it's all about.
You did a video on that not too long ago, right? By the way, user could probably guess his password. It's got to be 1, 2, 3, 4. All right.
Yeah, go check your password, user.
It's password. His password's password. Okay.
Yeah.
No, it's password.
Go change it right now, or you get hacked by everybody on the stream.
Because nobody would guess it. Okay, well, go ahead. You're the handcuff stash, the late round RB, 0 RB guy. So who do you like better of those two?
Oh, definitely P. Ryan. If Joe Mixon goes down, P. Ryan is going to be the lead back there. He can catch the ball. That's my big knock on Ronald Jones is he doesn't really catch the ball. So even though, and not only that, Cincinnati's been very run heavy lately. They've been very run heavy down the stretch here. So I think P. Ryan is by far the better stash.
Yeah, and I agree for a slightly different reason, though. The thing is, okay, if you told me right now, like on the first play of the game, it's not going to happen. I don't believe in jinxes, okay? But if hypothetically the first play of the game, both Fournette, and Mixon went out for the season, right? Tore their ACL or whatever. Who would I rather have in a vacuum? Who's the guy more upside? I'd say Jones. But right now, I'd say I'd rather take P. Ryan because Mixon has been banged up. He's a guy who has injury history. Fournette has looked really strong. He's on a better offense. So I think there's a better chance of P. Ryan getting playing time. Plus, like you said, the pass catching work. So even though I think Jones is technically the more talented back on a better team, I think fantasy wise, it's smarter to get P. Ryan.
Yeah. All right, another super chat from Tyler Foley. Thank you. Pick 2 between Fournette, Gordon, not Jeff Wilson, not Jamar Jefferson. So for me, it's Fournette and Melvin Gordon.
Easy.
And then another super chat from Tyler. Thank you. Start Cam over Josh Allen, half PPR? No way. No way. I like Cam a lot this week, but not more than Josh Allen.
No, there's such a thing as getting too cute. And neither of us like subscribe to the start your studs thing. Like, no, you play who you think is going to score the most points. And look, I get being down on Tom Brady this week because he's going against Buffalo's defense, but going against Tampa, even though they rank, I think, second defensively overall in pass yards per game and fantasy points to quarterbacks, they're not the top of the top. Like, there's a chance that Josh Allen scores a fair amount of points. And yes, we like Cam Newton's matchup this week, but no, you can't make that swap because the floor for Cam Newton is way too low.
Yeah. And now he's asking Taysom over Brady. For me, no. I still go Brady.
Taysom Hill or Brady?
Yeah.
Honestly, that's a little closer. I mean, man, it's the Jets, and they don't have Ingram, and they don't.
They do have Kamara.
They do have Kamara.
It might just be a game where they run the ball, run Kamara 25 times. Like my worry with Hill, and I do like Hill a lot, is he could run for 100 yards and a touchdown, but he might not throw the ball at all. Like they might just be like, he might throw it 10 times. So, and I think Brady, even though it's not the greatest matchup, I think it is going to be a high scoring game because I think the Bills can put points on the Bucs. So I personally, I can't do that. I can't do it. As much as I love Taysom, I can't do it.
I know. I couldn't do that. I wouldn't be surprised if Hill outscores Brady, but no, I wouldn't put him in. I would keep Brady in.
And then we got a Cali Boy super chat defense question: Panthers or Titans?
All right. So you'd like to say the Titans because they're playing the Jaguars. Jaguars haven't been turning the ball over too much lately, though. That's the one thing they've finally started doing well because they're not letting Trevor Lawrence just throw the ball that much. So, and the other choice was Panthers.
Yeah.
I mean, I get there's more potential there for turning it over, but Panthers have a better defense. But look, I'd say if points allowed matter, then I'd probably stick with the Titans. If it's just sacks and turnovers, then I might go Panthers.
Yeah, in your standard DST scoring, I think it's Titans just because how many points is Jacksonville going to score? 10? You know what I mean? So, yeah, they might not have a massive ceiling in this game, but they have a very high floor. The Falcons can score, right? The Falcons can score.
Right.
So that does lower the floor a little bit. So I would go Titans. All right, another super chat from Stephen Drakes needs 2.5 PPR. Michelle, Hilliard, Hasty, Jeff Wilson, Chase Evans, who, by the way, they might not even activate. If they do activate Chase Evans this week, they can wait all the way till Monday. So I'm going to rule out Chase Evans because you can't be sitting there waiting for Monday to see if he gets activated. Or Alex Collins. I'm going to rule out Alex Collins. So yeah, I think Michelle out of that is the must. Michelle's the must.
Definitely.
And then it's between Hilliard, Hasty, or Jeff Wilson.
Can't do Hasty. He's just
no.
I mean, Wilson's going to be the starter over Hasty. So right there, you can eliminate Hasty. I liked Hilliard until I knew that McNichols was going to be activated. And I think McNichols is playing, correct?
I haven't heard anything about him, so I'm not really sure, to be honest.
I have to check into that. If that's wrong, I'll correct myself later or try to look now. But I want to say Hilliard. But again, if McNichols is playing, that kind of takes a little bit of the shine off of him. Not that there's that much. Probably better to go with Wilson.
Yeah, I think I would go Michelle and Wilson here. Michelle's the only one I really feel good about, though. So good luck with the Wilson start. I'm starting him in a couple spots too, so hopefully it's not a must-win for you. All right, Soldier of Science, Super Chat, thank you so much. Thielen went down for me. Do I start? Here we go. Nick Westbrook, Akini, Russell Gage, or Christian Kirk?
I think you probably don't want to go with Kirk based on the matchup. Westbrook Akini would be more interesting before Julio Jones was activated, right? Because then he's technically the number one receiver, even though it's a bad offense, but it's a bad defense they're going against. So I'm going to say Gage. Again, I don't love him this week, but at least he's got that floor. And you can't say that about those other two.
Yeah, between those guys, for me, it's Gage. If Julio wasn't back, I might go with Keeney, but I think with Julio back, I might go Gage. All right, another super chat, Ricardo Vera. Thank you so much. Loves the channel. Thank you also for that. Javonte, Michelle, Ayuk can only start 2. Well, again, for me, Michelle out of those is a must.
Did you say PPR or standard?
Didn't say. I'll assume PPR.
Because if it's a standard, if it's non-PPR at all, I would probably say Javonte.
I'm gonna say Javonte anyways.
I'd probably say Javonte.
I know you're a big Ayuk guy, but come on, he was in that smash spot last week and got me a nice 8 points. Like that's the thing. Ayuk can bomb, right? Ayuk can have a great game, but he can also bomb. I feel like with Michelle and Javonte.
Yeah. Against Detroit, it's pretty safe. Look, the thing too, though, is with Niners, because Elijah Mitchell was the offense, right? They ran him into the ground, and let's see what happens. But they don't have him, so that's why Ayuk. I do like him a little better than last week if Debo doesn't play. But probably better just go with Javonte.
Yeah, I would just go the running backs myself personally. Dylan Jimenez. Okay, so super chat from Dylan Jimenez. Hunter Renfrow over Marquise Brown. Maybe.
I would.
Yeah,
I would. Waller's out.
Yeah.
And the thing with Baltimore, number one, Lamar Jackson's not looking the way he did in the first half, right? He was passing the ball like crazy. We say, who is this guy? Well, now he's back to last year's Lamar Jackson, but also Sammy Watkins and Rashad Bateman are both there. They're all sharing targets. Now you got 4 receivers in a team that's run heavy. And I think that's part of the problem too with Marquise Brown is that Rashad Bateman wasn't playing the first few games, right? And Sammy Watkins is hurt because he's always hurt, but he's actually not hurt this week. So, yeah, I would do it. I would go Renfrow.
And then, yeah, I agree. Renfrow. I think I have Marquise Brown as a bust this week. And then Brady or Mahomes.
Mahomes, I know he's been very disappointing, but I think the Raiders, didn't he eat up the Raiders a couple of weeks ago?
You got to play Mahomes. Yeah. Owns the Raiders. He owns the Raiders like Aaron Rodgers owns the Bears.
Right. I mean, not quite to that extent, but yeah, he's owned them. And Brady, I mean, going against the Bills, that's a time where you can temper expectations.
Yeah. All right, super chat from Patrick Garcia. Thank you. Full PPR lost Mitchell and Henderson. That's rough for sure. You could pick up one between Penny, Pirine, Abdullah, either of the Lions running backs, Rex Burkhead. Definitely not Rex Burkhead. Definitely not David Johnson. Singletary, Moss, Ty Johnson, Darrell Williams. I'm going to say the only one. I might consider Darrell Williams out of that. He might be the one I take out of that group.
Maybe, because he's still looking good, right?
Yeah, he's getting some carries and he's running more routes than CEH. I mean, at least he gives you that. It's full PPR. I mean, you trust Rashad Penny? He's the only other one I'd probably consider.
That was the one initially when you read that list. That was the one I would say, just because he is going to see more carries, but we still know this Seattle running game is just bad, regardless of who's back there, and the offensive line is bad. So, yeah, I think I would go Darrell Williams. You're right.
Yeah, at least he's. I think he got like 11 PPR points last week. That's probably more than Penny's going to get unless he scores.
Yeah.
Tyler Foley, super chat, a defense question: Green Bay or Seattle? This is easily Green Bay for me.
Yeah, easily Green Bay. Justin Fields is back in there for Chicago starting. That's a good thing for the defense. I know he looked good a couple weeks ago. That was a while ago. I think we can count on a pick or two at least.
Yeah. All right, we're getting a lot of Russell Gage questions. Maybe did you mention Russell Gage in some video this week? That's probably why. All right, Connor Crawford, Russell Gage or Odell?
I'm going Odell, and I do like Odell this week. I mean, we know going against Arizona, like I said, we anticipate a high scoring game, but even if it's not high scoring, look, I know he had a very disappointing stat line last week. I think 2 catches, like 28 yards or something, but that's because they didn't need to throw the ball against Jacksonville, right? There was no need. And the week before, when they were in a tough contest with Green Bay, he had 10 targets. He's getting targeted. He's going to get targeted. So I go with Beckham. Especially in a week where we're not crazy about Gage.
I agree. QMO 87, what's up? Saquon or Darrell Williams PPR?
Oh, really?
That's how low people are on Saquon right now.
We just had Darrell Williams among like Zach Moss and like,
right. We were like debating Darrell Williams and Rashad Penny.
Yes. And now it's like Saquon. I guess Saquon hasn't been doing great, but I think this is the week. And I feel like I don't remember where it was we talked about him, but we did. We had a healthy discussion about Saquon Barkley. We're not giving up on him yet, but also I think this is a week where he smashes. I do.
I don't know if I'm ready to say he smashes yet, but I think he'll be good. He'll definitely be better than Darrell Williams. That's for sure.
Yeah.
All right, Mark Pedri, who's the best tight end to pick up with Waller out? Moreau, Fant, or Ricky Seals-Jones?
A little tougher than it was last week because then we knew Seals-Jones wasn't 100% going into last week. You know, and Moreau, people had high hopes, and I said, don't get too excited. And of course, he only caught like one ball. He really doesn't have a great matchup this week either. Kansas City defense has been really good lately. Between those guys, I do have Fant the highest, even though I know he's really disappointed. But it's Detroit. I trust him more than those other two guys, so I would stick with Fant.
Yeah, I don't trust any pass catcher, and I know it's Detroit, but I'm still like 100% off them because it's probably just going to be a game where Melvin Gordon and Javonte Williams combine for 40 carries, and Teddy Bridgewater throws it 12 times or something. So I'm going to say Seals-Jones. Moreau to me is touchdown or bust.
Yeah.
Fant is kind of touchdown or bust too, because again, the target share is not there. At least Seals-Jones, he should be healthy. Probably going to play almost every snap. Yeah, there's a lot of risk, but there's risk with all these guys. So I'm going to say Seals-Jones. And then Russell Kaiser, Crowder or Guyton? Full PPR.
Guyton is a sneaky start too, but more of a sneaky like throw him in your DFS, tournament play than, and he could have a big game, but no, I wouldn't put him in, in a redraft league if you have a better option, which you do.
Yeah, Crowder, I don't love Crowder, but he's got a decent floor in PPR now. I mean,
wow. I liked Crowder going into this week anyways, and now with Elijah Moore out, I didn't even know Moore was going to be out, so I kind of love Crowder this week.
All right, Jay Hill needs one running back between Hasty, Pollard, probably not Pollard, or Penny in PPR.
It would be Penny because Pollard, I mean, he's doubtful. You don't want him in your lineup.
No, even if he plays, like he's going to need an injection. How much? No, you can't play him. So I agree. Penny, William Watkins, Javonte Williams, or Terry McLaurin, half PPR.
Now, if Melvin Gordon wasn't playing again, I would say Javonte, but I have McLaurin as a boom. I think everything's in place for him to smash. So I know it's a little riskier, but I'm going to go with McLaurin myself.
I would go with McLaurin as well. Unless Gordon sits, unless we get some news tomorrow or tonight that Gordon's going to sit, then it's definitely Javonte. But until then, it's McLaurin. All right, super chat from Jorge Galvez. Apologies if I mispronounced that. Needs an RB2 and a flex between Hilliard, Jeff Wilson. I hope you're ready for all the Jeff Wilson questions. Penny, a lot of Penny questions. Gallup, Valdez-Scantling. So one running back. So let's start with the running back between Hilliard, Wilson, and Penny, who we like.
I kind of looked real quick. We don't have any clarity on the McNichols thing. So Hilliard, he's just kind of sketchy. So I don't think I can pick him over Wilson as much as I would like to. I guess in that case, I'd probably say Wilson. And to me, the flex is an obvious. It's got to be Gallup.
I agree. Wilson and Gallup. I like Gallup this week against a football team. Everybody's like, oh, defense is better. Okay, maybe it's better, but they can't cover all three of these guys. So somebody's going to get loose. It could be Gallup. So, all right, Maddie 16. See, I told you. Jeff Wilson or Jamar Jefferson, PPR.
I would go Wilson in this case too, forcing me to pick Jeff Wilson because the other choices are just more disgusting. But,
are we ready? Are we ready? I'm not ready because I love Elijah Mitchell and he was my highest owned running back in all my 800 plus best ball drafts because I kept drafting in the last round. But are we ready for Jeff Wilson to win championships again this year?
Okay, if that happens, I'll take back everything I said this whole season about him, and then you just have to always pick him up or just stash him always.
Yeah, just for week always. 15 on. You're gonna get nothing. You're gonna get nothing from him for 13 weeks, but then he's gonna win your championship. So,
hey, I'll take that guy in the first round.
No,
Yeah. So
hopefully not. We need Elijah Mitchell back. He's been awesome. He
yeah.
needs to come back. All right, super chat from Marvin Lewis. Which Detroit running back, if you had to, would you pick up and play? Well, I had to in one league, and I picked up Jamar Jefferson. That's my choice.
Yeah. I mean, just trying to look real quick at other great choices. Of course, there's not. I mean, if you want to, I don't even say it's a great floor. Amir Abdullah will catch a few passes.
No,
But
he's only asking about the Detroit running backs.
that's it. Detroit. Oh, just Detroit.
Said, which Detroit running back, if you had to, would you pick up and play? And I did pick up Jamar Jefferson and play in one league where I had to.
Yeah, Jefferson's going to be the lead guy.
Yeah.
Look, I know Igwebike, he had that one big run and he's looked decent, but I think Jefferson's clearly going to be the lead back. Like, do you have to pick someone from Detroit? Is that like a specification in your league, or like you're like a punishment from losing last year?
Maybe like you lost that would be a good like loser thing. Is like next year you have to start a running back from like the Jets. You lost you finished dead last this year. Next year you must start a running back from the Jets every week, no matter what.
I like that. That could be a thing.
All right, QMO 87 needs one in full PPR between Sony, Saquon, or Darrell Williams.
I'm going Saquon. Like I said, I think this could be the big week. I know Sony seems safer, but it's not a great matchup for him. And like I said, they could just give up on the run. He's not going to do what he did last week, I don't think. So I'm going Barkley personally.
I'd probably, as much as I love Barkley, I'd probably go Sony just because I feel a little safer about him. But I'd be rooting for Barkley. I'd be hoping Barkley went off on my bench.
Yeah.
All right, Anthony Chow, Sony Michel, or James Conner?
That's the closer one. My gut says you want to keep Connor in there just because, I mean, like you said, we don't know even about Edmonds if he's going to be activated. So I think Connor mostly will have the backfield to himself. Even if Edmonds plays, he's not going to be out there, a ton. And Connor is probably going to score a touchdown. The Rams, their run defense has been, a little softer lately. So I would go with Connor.
Yeah, I'd probably still go with Connor. I probably would. Just feel safer about Connor than I do about Michelle. Ronnie Santana, who should I start as wide receivers? Ayuk, Julio Jones, or Westbrook Akine?
Just one?
Yeah.
Ayuk.
Definitely Ayuk. I agree. Anonymous. So I don't know who this is. I'm not sure who this is. But we'll answer your question anyways. Oh, a lot of Hilliard questions. Half PPR. Hilliard, Mooney, Melvin Gordon, Hunt, Jerry Jeudy. So he's got to sit two. He's got to sit two of those. Well, I'm going to say Gordon and Hunt are must.
Yeah, you definitely start Gordon and Hunt.
So now it's between Hilliard, Mooney, and Jeudy. Pick one.
I mean, I've said this already a couple times. You don't love Denver's pass catchers this game, but I wouldn't sit Jeudy instead of Hilliard, would you?
No, I've definitely played Jeudy over Hilliard. What about Mooney? I'd probably still play Jeudy. With Allen Robinson back and Justin Fields back, no, thank you.
Yeah, Mooney, I'm not as interested. Not a great matchup. Fields, yeah, he had a couple of a couple of big plays with Fields, but then Allen Robinson is playing, so. But I probably still have Mooney over Hilliard.
Yeah, so sit Hilliard and Mooney. What we're saying.
Yeah, but yeah, I don't think I would have Mooney over Jeudy.
All right, JSK 512, MVS, Marquez Valdez-Scantling, Devonta Freeman, or Odell. Pick two.
I'm going to say yes to Odell. I think he's a guy you want to lock in there. MVS, I know, it's all or nothing, right? That's fine sometimes. That's fine. But what's the latest is we know Cobb is out, right? But look, how many targets was Cobb getting, honestly? Besides that one game where everyone else was out, so he got targets. Cobb isn't really affecting his fantasy stock, is he?
No.
And Lazard is playing. I think Lazard
I believe
is
so,
playing.
yes.
And I know the Bears have a great secondary, but I don't know. I don't think I would pick MVS.
Yeah, I mean, Devonta Freeman's getting receptions. So
He's got a floor.
yeah, he's got a floor. I think I would go Odell and Devonta Freeman there. And then we got Drew Vanna. We've answered this question a bunch. We both like Wilson more than Penny, right?
Yeah.
Jeff Wilson. All right, Sarab Agash. Oh man, I know I butchered that. I apologize. Jeff Wilson or Jarvis Landry half PPR?
Definitely Jarvis Landry. You had him as a boom. This is a week. It's, everything's in place for him to smash. Which probably means he won't, but you got to take the chance.
Yeah. Sorry.
No, it's all right. So that, if y'all missed at the beginning of the show, talked about this because we had an Austin Hooper question. The Ravens in the last 4 games have allowed the 4th most fantasy points to wide receivers, 2nd fewest to running backs. Guess what they're going to try to do to Cleveland? Are they going to try to stop the passing game of Baker Mayfield, or are they going to try to stop Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt? They're going to go all in, probably 11 guys in the box, try to stop that run game. Jarvis Landry will probably have a nice game.
Yeah, probably, because it's Jarvis Landry. All right, Matt Wingo 89. Dylan Ayuk or Landry standard scoring?
Standard scoring. Then because I just said all those great things about Landry, but I do love Ayuk in general. So I would go with Ayuk because I think probably better chance to score.
Yeah, and standard scoring, I prefer Ayuk. I think he can get more yards and definitely touchdown potential. And then we have a super chat from Jocko Agami. Sorry if I mispronounced your name. Pick 3. Well, these are some tough choices, actually. Metcalf, Michelle, Javonte Williams, Barkley, James Conner, or Hubbard. Well, I'm going to say Hubbard's last out of that list.
Yeah, I mean, we like Hubbard's matchup, but I wouldn't put him over Barkley or Javonte or those guys. So, I mean, you do have a tough choice because you have a bunch of solid options there, but not anybody who's a lock. Like, I can't think of one guy I'm like, yeah, you have to start him. I want to say that with Metcalf, but I mean, we can't these days, right? So I'm gonna say yes to Metcalf, and again, I'm saying yes to Barkley because I think it's in place for him there.
Yeah.
You agree with those?
I agree with those two. And then it comes down to Javonte or Connor for me, or Michelle. But I think
I have Connor over Michelle because we answered that question a couple minutes ago. So Javonte,
probably have him over.
Probably barely over Connor. That's close.
Yeah, I'd probably go Javonte.
Yeah, it's a better matchup. So
yeah, the Detroit matchup. Like I said, I think they're going to run the ball a ton. Teddy doesn't throw the ball even when they're losing. So, right?
Pretty much.
All right, super chat, Cali boy. Jeff, I assume Jeff Wilson, Hilliard, Gage, or Chuba in the flex. Chuba for me out of those guys.
I almost wonder because Cali Boy has been on a few times and he always super chats us up. So much love. We appreciate that.
Yeah.
It's sad that Jeff is now on a first name basis because we had so many questions about him. Right.
Yeah. Right.
No, I almost feel like he's just throwing that out because those are like the 4 names we've gotten 10 questions about already. Like just to mess with us. Okay. Okay. So Jeff Wilson, Russell Gage,
Hilliard, or Chuba Hubbard.
We're picking one
for the flex.
For me, it's probably Hubbard.
Yeah, I think it's against Atlanta, going to get probably 15 plus carries, at least a couple catches. So, and then Amari Cooper or Russell Gage.
Got to be Cooper.
Definitely Cooper. Maddie 16, Jeff Wilson or Jeff Hasty. We kind of answered this earlier. We both agree Jeff Wilson. He's the starter. Noah Shapiro, when is DeAndre Swift coming back? Who knows? Maybe next week, maybe never. We don't really know. We're not getting a lot of clarity out of Detroit other than Dan Campbell keeps saying he's hopeful, and then he doesn't practice and doesn't play. So I don't know.
I'm not counting on him returning next week. Let's just put it that way. I haven't heard anything that's made me think in any way that he's ready to come back next week. But that's my interpretation.
Jordan F., MVS, Gallup, or Jeff Wilson at the flex?
Go Gallup.
Yeah, Gallup. Another super chat, Terry R. Thank you. Montgomery or Michelle? Okay. We had this question in the Discord, and this is a very tough one for me.
This is tough.
This is tough. This is like, I think you can't go wrong with either. This is tough. I don't even think I answered. I think I just said that's really close for me. That was all I said. Because I'm like, flip a coin. Flip a coin.
I mean, Montgomery obviously looked good last week. I think what encourages me is his use as a receiver. You always want to see that, and that could be what saves him this week too against Green Bay because
But is he still going to get used as a receiver with Fields back?
That's the thing that concerns me. Is also he'll steal a few carries, and that's the thing. I would like him better with Andy Dalton back there for the running back's sake. So that's what makes it tough, right? Now, Michelle does have the backfield to himself. So let me see. Where's my lucky coin? If it were me and I had to choose, I would probably go with
See, this is
Montgomery.
Tough. That's where I'm leaning to. I'm glad you said Montgomery. That's where I'm leaning to. But it's really, really, really close. Like,
yeah,
honestly, I could see this going either way. But I would probably lean Montgomery too, because we know the Bears want to run the ball. They're not gonna, like the Rams. This could be a game where Matt Stafford throws the ball 40 times. So
feel better about Montgomery's usage, potential usage.
And then Jeff Wilson, Deebo Samuel, or Landry. Obviously, if Deebo plays, Deebo. If Deebo doesn't play, are we starting Jeff Wilson over Landry?
Landry.
Yeah,
Landry.
Definitely Landry. Cole Ward, lucked out stashing Michelle. You didn't luck out. That was smart. That's called smart, being smart. I mean, you lucked out in the sense that he has an opportunity, but you were smart to stash him.
Right.
Rodgers or Mahomes, 6-point passing touchdown.
I'm going Rodgers because even though Mahomes had that enormous game against the Raiders, I mean, it's insane, but he's just not throwing touchdowns that much. Like maybe he throws 5 touchdowns again, but there's also a good chance he doesn't. We know Rodgers is more consistent. He owns Chicago. Look, let's take away that 5 touchdown game that he had, which happened to be against the Raiders, right?
Yeah, that's the thing. It's the Raiders.
Okay, but besides that, 1 touchdown, 0 touchdowns, 1 touchdown, 1 touchdown, 0 touchdowns. That is Pat Mahomes over the last 6 weeks, okay? Or last 6 games, I should say, because they had their bye. I'm not saying you don't start him. I have Mahomes as a top 6 quarterback, but I have Rodgers as a top 5 quarterback.
Yeah, I think I would just play it safer here and go with Rodgers. Martin Rodgers, Hunter Ayuk in the flex.
That's close. Hunt is a little more dependent on the game script. I'd probably still keep Hunt in there.
Yeah, I agree. Ayuk is dependent on
Deebo.
State. I don't even know how to predict Ayuk. Like I don't even know how to. Like I have no process for Ayuk. It's like maybe like the weeks were like he's dead. He does nothing. He goes out and gets like 25 fantasy points. And we're like he's back. You could play him. There's no Deebo. It's the perfect situation for him, and he disappears. Like I have no way to. Ayuk hurts my brain, so I would just go Hunt.
That's true. What I also have a hard time with is figuring out the Bengals and their defense, because there's one week where they're like, we're top of the division. They're dominating. Look, they have a defense. And then they're at home and get just completely throttled, right? And then, so you just never know with them too. But yeah, I think Hunt should still have a decent game, because I know I said that about the Ravens defense and stopping the run, but Kareem Hunt, of course, used a lot as a receiver. That's what's going to help.
And then MVS or Landry. This is GD.
Still going with Landry. I like him this week.
Yeah, I like Landry better. Dirk Nowitzki back again. All right. How you doing, Dirk? Judy Freeman. Yeah, I mean, he's retired, isn't he?
Yeah, he's enjoying his free time. I mean, when he's not playing 2K, with his face on the cover, then he's watching us.
Yeah, he's basketball career is over. Time to play fantasy football. Judy, Devonta Freeman, or Crowder, PPR.
To me, that's automatic. Go Crowder. Like him this week. I liked him even before Elijah Moore was put on IR suddenly. I even liked him before we knew Corey Davis was out for the season because it's a good spot. Saints, not quite, I wouldn't use the word funnel, but tough run defense, not too tough against the pass. I want to say over the past month, they're like bottom 5 against wide receivers. So the Jets, I mean, they got to throw it to somebody now. He's like their only option.
That's my only worry is Zach Wilson throws. He throws it to somebody, but he throws it to like the Saints 5 times.
Well, that is possible. It's probably going to be both. Like Crowder catches 11 passes and the Saints intercept him 3 times.
It's going to be like Crowder has 11 catches for 50 yards and Zach Wilson has 4 interceptions. All right, Trevor Boyle, Chase Edmonds, Igwebuike.
Yeah, we'll go with that.
I'm doing this so you can say his name properly because you do a great job of it.
Godwin Igwebuike.
Perfect. Or Amir Abdullah in half PPR.
Did you say half PPR?
Yeah.
Yeah, that nullifies Abdullah's appeal for the most part.
And I don't think the problem with Chase Edmonds to me is they've already said they don't have to activate him. If they even activate him off IR, they don't have to do it till Monday. So if you wait around for Chase Edmonds and they're like, yeah, we're going to give him another week, you got nothing. So I think you got to play
Godwin Igwebuike.
Out of necessity, honestly. I don't love it, but I think out of necessity, you have to.
I mean, you want to say Edmonds would clearly be the choice, but if he, like you said, if he doesn't play or he's going to be limited, you can't just, let me plug in Eno Benjamin. You can, because then I'll get you 0 points. So I don't love any of those guys. But the thing is, if it's not full PPR, I would say Abdullah between those two, but then it's not full PPR. Abdullah will get you like maybe 4 points. Maybe. Yeah. So yeah, go with Godwin.
Tyler Foley, Super Chat, Miles Davis or Louis Armstrong in the flex? Who we flexing?
Gotta be Miles Davis. Gotta be. We'll say that for the end of the show. We'll break down his best album.
C. Crip, Crowder, Mooney, or Brandon Cooks, full PPR?
Crowder, Mooney, or who?
Brandon Cooks.
I mean, I was down on Cooks already, and he's questionable. I didn't even know he was questionable. So let's stick with Crowder pick. I like my Crowder pick. I'm going to go all in on it.
Yeah, I agree. Crowder out of that bunch. The Chosen Rose. This is a kicker question, so it's all you. Tyler Bass, Greg Zuerlein, or Dustin Hopkins?
I don't think you can go Hopkins over those two. I think Bass, again, that's not just could be a high scoring game, but also favorable conditions in Tampa, unless there's rain that's unexpected, which I don't think there will be. So I'll go Bass because I think they'll be back and forth. I'm really not expecting Dallas offense to go off. We've talked about this. Washington's defense has stiffened up the last few weeks. Not expecting a huge game there. So I'm a little down on the Cowboys, but Bass.
All right, Drew Vano, pick 2, Hunter Renfrow, Kareem Hunt, or Chuba? Full PPR.
Pick 2. I feel like Renfrow is borderline must start, especially with Waller out. And then I'd probably go Hunt as the second.
I agree, those two. Now this one to me is a close one as well. Although we'll see how you feel. The Chosen Rose, Zeke or Sony?
No, I feel pretty good about Zeke. Especially Pollard probably not going to play. So, yeah, Zeke is going to get the volume. Go Zeke.
Yeah, I mean, I go Zeke over Michelle. I don't know if I feel as good about it as you do, but I do go Zeke over. Ooh, this is a Jay Gonzalez, Metcalf or DJ Moore?
I like Metcalf. I know he's a little riskier, but I think we saw enough signs, right? We saw enough signs last week that his target share went back up again. It's Houston. So, putting trust that Russell Wilson is okay now and he, doesn't harbor any more grudges against Metcalf for his off the field escapades. So I'm going Metcalf.
Yeah, I know I had DJ Moore as a boom, but I can't play him over Metcalf personally. Barter Mania, Stafford or Dak?
Stafford.
Yeah, definitely Stafford. I agree. I bleed green 20. Odell, DK Metcalf. We're getting a lot of DK Metcalf questions, or Gallup.
If I'm picking just one of those guys, then
You're
I'm
picking
going.
two.
Oh, did you say two?
Yes.
Okay, so DK and Odell.
I agree. 6 Ippy Mud. Probably not how that's supposed to be pronounced, but Amari Cooper or Van Jefferson?
Go with Cooper. Generally like Van Jefferson. I feel like Odell is going to get more involved this week. So I like him a little better. So I'm not down on Jefferson per se too much, but it's not going to be, that greatest spot as last week either.
I agree. I think you can't start Van Jefferson over Cooper, in my opinion. Tony Brentinel, Julio, McLaurin, or Cooper, pick 2.
I think we can sit Julio out of those.
Yes, definitely. Sit Julio. Bam 3. A lot of Metcalf questions. Metcalf or T. Higgins?
I'll take the Metcalf questions over the Jeff Wilson questions any day. And every day, any day. Okay, so DK Metcalf. Sorry, what was yours?
Metcalf or T. Higgins?
I would say Metcalf. I mean, clearly a better matchup, right? Houston as opposed to San Francisco. I think Higgins was banged up a little bit in practice this week, wasn't he?
Yeah, I think he missed like Wednesday and he was fine. But here's the thing about San Francisco. Their top 2 corners are now out.
That's true. Mosley's
So it's
out,
not
right?
as bad of a matchup as it looked like earlier in the week.
That is true. I forgot about that. But I'm still going to lean towards Metcalf. Is massive upside.
Yeah, I still go Metcalf, but should be noted that this spot's not as bad for the Cincinnati receivers as it looked earlier in the week.
Fair enough.
I think, do I start Brown over Renfro? We did this one. I'm pretty sure we both said Renfro. Yeah, we did. Okay, Michael LaRocca, Javonte Williams or David Montgomery?
I like Javonte a little bit better. It's close, but even with Gordon playing, I mean, come on, it's Detroit. I think Javonte's proven he's startable most weeks, anyways. And yeah, they're going to run the ball a ton. So yeah, I go Javonte.
All right, H61625. Can't believe I'm about to ask this. Have you been listening to the show? Have you been listening to the questions? It's probably not even going to be the craziest question we've gotten today. Mahomes or Cam Newton? Okay, it's pretty crazy. It's Mahomes.
Look, I get it. I already rattled off the stats, right, for Mahomes. Other than the one game, we know with the 5 touchdowns, he's thrown 1 or 0 touchdowns, but it was against the Raiders, and it's the Raiders. And Cam Newton, the floor is just too low.
I was going to say, we've seen one game from Cam, and the other game
was god awful. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the Falcons, so I guess it's not crazy. I mean, yeah. Cam Newton, runs in a CMC's not there. He runs in a touch. So look, would I be surprised if Cam Newton outscores Mahomes? No, I wouldn't be too surprised. But would I be surprised if Mahomes threw for 400 yards and 5 touchdowns? No. So I would
be surprised if Cam outscored Mahomes this week. I would be surprised.
I wouldn't be shocked. I'd be mildly surprised. I'd be like,
okay. Let's see. Pretty sure we did that one. Brian French, I'm starting Taysom Hill instead of Mahomes this week. You're a brave man. I don't think I would do that.
Again, not shocking. I don't have them too far off in terms of rankings. But no, I don't think you can bench Mahomes.
No. Super Pons 473. Would you start Julio Jones or Odell?
Odell.
Definitely Odell. Gage or Hubbard in the flex. Pretty sure we did that one. I think we said Hubbard. David Morris, Gallup, Peoples-Jones, or Judy?
Peoples-Jones is kind of an interesting flyer, but not to the extent I would take him over a guy like Gallup. And then I think we probably both like Gallup better than Judy, right?
Yeah, Judy's fine if you're just like, hey, I just need 10 points because my opponent has a terrible team, is in last place, that doesn't set their lineup, has 3 people who aren't playing this week. I can't risk like, Michael Gallup getting shut out. So I just want like 10 points, then put Judy in. But if you actually want to score like decent, if you want to have some upside, then yeah, definitely Gallup. There's just there's a lot of leagues like that this time of year, right? Where like,
I mean,
you're
yeah, I
playing
was like, that's a great scenario. You don't have to worry about start-sit decisions if
well,
that's
I
the
mean,
case.
there's a lot of leagues like
Yeah,
that because guys get eliminated. They're in last place. They don't set their lineup. They have DeAndre Swift and
yeah,
they have whoever else, and they're out. All of a sudden, they're out. They have Keenan Allen, DeAndre Swift, let's say, and now they're not even going to put anybody else in. So really, the only way you can lose is
sure,
if you also get a 0, right? That's the only way you can lose.
true.
We did that one. Let's
Don't be
see.
that guy, guys. Anybody watching here, if you don't make the playoffs, don't be that guy. Just
Yeah.
stop setting your lineup. At least pretend, right? Like you might
Yeah.
not really care, and don't be the guy also who if you're eliminated from the playoffs, then you putting in like top waiver claims to grab guys just to prevent some. This just why, don't do that.
I used to play in a league that I commissioned where I would make like once the playoffs started, only the 6 teams alive can make a waiver claim, and then only the 4 teams, and then only the 2 teams. And other people could make waiver claims, but not until after waivers are processed. So it was like only those.
Okay, I think like that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like you say, I still want to try to win or be competitive, but not to snatch somebody just to be a jerk, just to get like keep somebody else from doing it. And I'm saying if you're like officially eliminated from the playoffs, like you still have any sort of chance, if you're like, what is it? The Lions have like a 0.000258 chance of making the playoffs or something like that. Like, okay, fine, you fight till the end, but if it's clear that you're not going to make the playoffs and you already know this, then yeah, you shouldn't be able to.
Yeah, just set your lineup. Honestly, if you're not going to make the playoffs, just set your lineup, and that's it.
Right.
And then, if you need to grab somebody off waivers because you didn't do it, but don't put in a claim. Yeah. Super chat from Josh Cazares. Apologies if I mispronounced that. I think we've answered this already, but Javonte Williams or Sony Michel?
Yeah, I feel that sounds familiar. We both say Javonte, because even if Gordon is back, Javonte is a guy who's got tremendous upside in the matchup. We're a little worried about Michelle because I know everyone looks at last week, right? Well, look at what Michelle did last week.
Yeah, the Jags.
Who did they play last week?
Yeah, the Jags.
So it's a little different. A little different matchup.
All right, Donzo513, pick one wide receiver and one running back. All right, let's start with the wide receiver, full PPR, by the way. Tyler Lockett or Brandon Ayuk? For me, easily Lockett.
Yeah, I got to go with Lockett.
And then one running back between Aaron Jones or David Montgomery. Ooh. This is going to test you.
The answer might surprise you. I'm actually going to say Montgomery because Jones, even before, I know they just come off the bye or whatever, but even before the injury, because you can excuse his last game, right? Maybe he wasn't 100%, blah, blah, blah. Dylan had been cutting into his work. I don't think we see Jones really get more than 15 touches. And it just worries me a little bit. And he's not going to get as many receptions, I don't think, as Montgomery. I actually think Montgomery has a higher floor.
I don't think I could do it personally. I get it. I get all the reasons you said. I just don't think I could personally do it. So I'm going to say Aaron Jones. But I don't feel great about him this week. But it'd just be hard for me to bench Aaron Jones over Montgomery. If it was somebody I felt better about, maybe. But
yeah.
But I get all the reasons you say. All right, CB needs 2 running backs and a flex in full PPR between Chubb, Patterson, our first Patterson question, Zeke, Urban Meyer's favorite player, James Robinson, and Devonta Freeman. Well, I think Zeke and Patterson for me are like the 2 locks.
Yeah, I'd say we can scratch the last 2 probably off the list. I'm down on Robinson.
Yeah, who knows what's going to happen. I mean, Urban Meyer could bench him the whole game, and then after the game be like, "Oh, he didn't play. James Robinson wasn't on the field. I didn't. I leave that up to the running backs coach to decide who's on the field." Like, what?
James who?
Yeah, we don't have a James Robinson on this team. What are you talking about? Urban Meyer is the worst. Yeah, I think you got to play the first 3.
Yeah.
Juan Santos, pick 2 between Chuba Hubbard, Devonta Freeman, or Kareem Hunt.
First and the last.
Yeah, I'm gonna say not Devonta Freeman. Zay 26, Melvin Gordon, Devonta Freeman, or Donta Foreman.
Our first mention of Foreman, who you can't feel great about. I mean, even despite the matchup, just very risky. You said we're picking one of those guys?
Yeah.
Okay. So tell me the non-Foreman options one more time.
Melvin Gordon, or Devonta Freeman.
I like Melvin Gordon. I know I get that there's some concerns, but if he's playing, he's going to be back to his usual role. I think it's a great spot for him.
Yeah, I agree. Ricardo Vera, love the channel. Brosefs, thank you. He's got Javonte Williams, Michelle. What's that?
Is that how do you guess my middle name?
He's got Javonte, Michelle, and Ayuk. He can start 2 of them. Who do you sit?
Well, you start Javonte.
Yeah.
Javonte. I mean, what did you say if it's PPR?
Did not say.
Because if it's non-PPR, it's definitely Michelle. PPR, it's closer. I know you've got all sorts of like question marks floating above your head with Ayuk, but if Debo does not play, I might lean towards Ayuk, but I get that Michelle is just the guy you just set and forget, right?
Yeah, I have to
probably go with Michelle.
I actually think it's better if Debo plays because we saw last week, okay, no Debo, and they just force fed George Kittle like Brandon Ayuk did. Brandon Ayuk just out there?
I was going to say also because they don't have Mitchell, right? So the running game is not going to be there. But you're right; it could just be the Kittle show again. So we'll go with Michelle.
All right, here's one. We've talked about these guys, but not together. Jamie C, Michelle, or Melvin Gordon.
Tough because again, you want to say, well, Michelle's the only running back really who's going to get touches there, right, on a good offense. But it's a tougher matchup, and again, I just worry how many touches he's going to get. That's what I worry. I honestly think that Gordon might get as many touches. I mean, could see that happening, or at least close. Okay, so if they're close in touches, well, would you rather have those touches against on a team that you know is going to run the ball, which is Denver, against a really, really, really one of the worst run defenses in the league in Detroit, or a decent defense, pretty good defense actually, decent against the run, but good defense in Arizona on a team that gives up on the run sometimes. So I'm going to go with Gordon.
Oh, I can't do it. I know. I know if it was me, I'd have to put Michelle in. I can't.
I get the ceiling is higher, right? Michelle, the ceiling is higher for him, but I feel a little more secure about Gordon's points.
All right.
I don't think the ceiling is crazy high for Michelle. That's the thing. I don't think he's in store for a monster game.
Yeah, I don't think the ceiling is crazy high, but at least we know he's going to get all the running back touches. There still is I do agree with you. I think it's going to be more of a split than we want, but I do wonder if Javonte is going to be a little ahead of Gordon, just a little. Gordon coming off an injury, right? Might not be quite 100% yet. Javonte obviously is awesome. So I do worry a little bit about that. So if it was me, I know the matchup is far better for Gordon, like far better. And I do agree with you. I worry that, the Rams do just throw up 40 times in this game, but I still personally would have to go Michelle if it was me. That's just me.
It's a close call. I could see a case for either one.
Yeah. I don't feel like, oh, definitely Michelle. So who am I? I don't know. Who are you? Guyton or Emmanuel Sanders in the flex?
When is this where I'd say who am I? Like, who is Emmanuel Sanders? Have we heard from him lately in the last month? I don't think he's even part of the offense anymore. Is he? I have to check to see if he's still on the active roster. So I'm going with Jalen Guyton because we know Allen is out. Guyton did have a nice game. I think 90 yards and a touchdown. Was it 2 weeks ago? So might as well take a chance on that again.
Yeah, I agree. Emmanuel Sanders looks like done. Might be done. Dispatang, we've answered this. Javonte Williams or Sony Michel, we both like Javonte better. Giselle Park needs 2 for flex. Whew, are you buckled in? I got some names for you. You ready?
One of them, Jeff Wilson.
No, but one of them is Jermichael Hasty.
Oh, even better. Okay.
Josh Palmer, Ty Johnson, Austin Walter, David Johnson, Jermichael Hasty, Foster, not Fabian Moreau, Evan Ingram. Needs 2 of those. That is
those.
Oh.
So first of all, I'm gonna say a little prayer for your team tonight.
Yes. A big prayer. Not a little one, a big one. A big prayer.
Maybe a big one, yeah. If Mike Williams wasn't playing alongside Keenan Allen, then yeah, Palmer becomes sort of interesting, but I don't think you can play him now. Okay, so I'll say we can scratch him off the list, right?
Yeah. I mean, you can scratch all these guys off the list.
Well, relatively speaking, I don't want any part of Hasty. I just don't. Between Ty Johnson and Austin Walter, I would prefer Ty. Well, it doesn't matter what I prefer. I think Ty Johnson is going to be the guy who gets more touches.
Okay.
Do you feel?
But we thought that like 2 weeks ago, and then it was Tevin Coleman. He was barely involved. And it's the Saints. So,
but here's the thing. But that's with Ty Johnson. He's more like the pass catching back, so he could do that. He could catch.
But the other thing is Zach Wilson
like 6 yards.
Zach Wilson doesn't dump it off like Flacco and Mike White.
But he's going to have to now without Elijah Moore or Corey Davis. Like someone's got to get touches.
Oh yeah, the Saints defense.
Okay,
Saints defense will get all the touches.
I think we've already ruled out all of them. So who else is?
David Johnson. I mean, at least it's the Seahawks, but
I'd rather have Evan Ingram over those guys, I guess.
I'm almost leaning the tight ends here with Moreau and Ingram, and just hope.
And is this PPR?
Doesn't say. Because I mean, what are you hoping with Ty Johnson?
A miracle? Yeah.
Like you're hoping, like you basically need a touchdown from any of these guys, right? No one's going to give you double-digit points without a touchdown. Even if Ty Johnson catches 3 or 4 passes, how many yards is he getting on the day? 40, 50?
I mean, is anybody else on that list strike you as a 40-plus yard guy?
No, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying they all need a touchdown. So at least give me like, okay, maybe Evan Ingram doesn't have a touchdown outside, but Moreau does at least.
Yeah, I mean, look, okay, so if it's me, I would personally, and I say this because as somebody who in one league with, I think it was, I don't know, a couple running backs out, I did at one point have Ty Johnson in my lineup out of desperation, and I swapped him out for Rashad Penny when I found out that, okay, so that tells you that. So I would do Ty Johnson and Evan Ingram. That would be me. But my third choice would be Moreau. So I get if you want to go tight end.
Yeah. I'll just go with that because I don't want any of these guys. I don't want any of them. This is the first question we've ever had where I'm like, none. You know what I'd rather do? I'd rather just put nobody in those spots. And at least I go into Sunday knowing I'm getting a 0. Right? I know I'm going to get the 0. So there's no disappointment. Instead of putting Ty Johnson in there and having him like fumble and give me like -1. Like, by the way, I lost the matchup last week by less than a point, and Gerald Everett somehow turned 4 targets, including a wide open touchdown, into -1.2 points, and I lost. I'd rather just take this. I'd rather just take the 0 and then have to go through the pain of like,
Wow. So that's a true story. You actually lost because of home. Yeah, he had 4 catches for 7 yards. Like that's hard to do.
But not only that, he had a touchdown where he's like it was just all he had to do was catch the ball, and it was like, okay, you've got a touchdown. There's no one even near you. And he's like, like that's hard to do. That is very hard to do. He had 4 catches and -1.2 points, and I lost. So See
That's
yourself.
just shows you
See yourself
don't trust
paying
tight
attention.
ends. That's the moral of the story.
That's the other thing. We're getting kind of late here. Should we start going rapid fire?
Yeah, let's do it. Haven't said this yet, but by the way, if you haven't got your question answered, or if you just have a lot more questions, or if you just want to spend more quality time with us, there's actually an easy way to do that. So if you look in the description, you'll find info on Patreon. You're probably familiar with that. So you can join us if you would like. Just click there, find more information. We have starts at show just like this, just as long, with a lot fewer people, just our loyal patrons. And you can join us Sunday morning right before kickoff with all the latest news and ask as many questions as you want. We have a nice group there going. We hang out and talk about non-football stuff too sometimes. So if you want to join that, go ahead and do it. But let's get to the rapid fire. We're going to try to answer as many questions as possible. So also super chat is still in play, but let's go for it.
All right, need one. Dante Foreman, Julio Jones, Brandon Ayuk, PPR.
Brandon Ayuk.
Definitely Brandon Ayuk. Pick 2, Sony Michel, JD McKissick, Hasty, Jamar Jefferson, or Crowder for MVS.
Like Crowder, going with him. And you said Michelle was the first one?
Yeah.
Yeah, gotta go Michelle Crowder. To me, that's 2 locks.
Yep, I agree. Started Madison. You should have been in the Discord, because as soon as Dalvin Cook was put in lineup, I said, start Dalvin Cook if you got him, sit Alexander Madison. This is why you guys got to get in the Discord, because you would know not to play Madison. But you did, and here we are. All right. Eckler, Montgomery, Taylor on bye. Okay, this isn't a question. My bad. Well, that was it. At least I got to rant about the Discord. If you guys haven't joined it yet, get in there. It's free. Link down below. Get in there.
Yep.
Who's a better flex option between Guyton or Josh Reynolds?
Look, I was all over Josh Reynolds last week. He did okay. Didn't quite pan out. I mean, you kind of think they might have to throw it to him because they have no running backs, right? The running backs are out. They say they want to throw it a lot, but it's a bad match. Denver, I can't do it. I'd rather just take a chance on Guyton.
Yeah, I agree. I would just take a chance on Guyton. What? I'm going to skip that. That's got to be a joke. Julio Jones, Mike Evans. I mean, I know I have Mike Evans as a bust, but if I knew Julio Jones was playing, I would have had him as like a double bust. So Mike Evans.
Is that awesome? I think it's clapping cheeks, probably one of his burner accounts.
Cam or Heineke?
To me, it's definitely Cam. I mean, Heineke, he's kind of settled for fantasy purposes into just a mediocre quarterback. He's hovered right around 250 yards. He's kind of very Teddy Bridgewater-esque, but with a little bit of rushing upside. But he hasn't been running the ball that much because Antonio Gibson is. So I'm definitely going Cam.
Definitely Cam. Is Mixon playing? Yes, they said he's playing. It was just an illness.
It was just.
I think we did. Ronald Callahan, PPR, Gallup, Landry, or Mooney?
If I'm picking just one.
Yeah.
I've been saying Landry all week. I have him as a boom. I'm sticking with that. I know Gallup has upside, but again, Landry is the clear number 1 receiver on a team that doesn't have very many options, and Gallup is still the number 3 option there. So I would prefer Landry.
I think in half PPR, I go a little bit towards Gallup just because of that big play touchdown ability. I do like Landry a lot, but I mean, yeah, he'll be like a 6, 7, 8 catch guy, 60, 70 yards.
Well, my worry with Gallup is because he did put up some big games, but that was because Cooper had been out, and they're saying now that Cooper not just back, but he should be full go. So yeah, I think we're going to see maybe a disappointment from Gallup.
Gallup definitely has the lower floor between the two, for sure. Seahawks or Chargers D?
Oh, defense. Seahawks. Let me see. I'm trying to think who we got here. Seahawks are going against Houston. I'm going with Seahawks.
Ooh, Chargers against Mike Glennon. Can't score a touchdown.
Well, if it was, we talked about this earlier in the week. Well, when it was Jake Fromm or whoever they were going to throw a quarterback, then yeah. But if Glennon, at least he's an experienced quarterback, he's not going to turn it over, 5 times. Davis Mills could turn it over 10 times.
Let's see. Some we haven't talked about. Dillon or Hilliard? AJ Dillon or Hilliard?
It's Dylan. I know I was kind of big on Hilliard beginning of the week. He could be okay, but again, I worry if McNichols comes back and that eats into his touches.
CEH or Chuba? Standard scoring.
That's a close one. That feels like a Chris question because you talk a lot about CH and you had Chuba as a kind of a must start this week. So I'll let you answer first.
I like Chuba, especially in standard, because now you don't have to worry about Amir Abdullah catching passes because it's like whatever.
Yeah.
It's Atlanta. It's Atlanta. This is probably the last week you get to play Chuba, by the way, because after this he gets Buffalo, Tampa Bay, New Orleans. So if you grab Chuba and you thought like I have a league winner now because CMC is out, good luck with that. I think it's gonna be really bad the last 3 weeks.
Yeah, if your trade deadline doesn't exist or is not yet, trade Chuba Hubbard and Cam Newton if anybody cares.
James Robinson or Michelle. I think we answered this, but we both say Michelle, right?
Michelle, definitely.
Crowder or Austin Hooper? Definitely
Gotta be Crowder.
Okay, so another tight end question needs from the waivers, but we didn't talk about one of these guys. Ricky Seals, Jared Cook, or Hooper? Do we like Cook more with Keenan out?
Only a little bit. The thing is, we've seen Cook these never has a high target share. They have other tight ends they'll incorporate. And I do think it just kind of hurts the Chargers offense in general. The Giants aren't a great team, but they're also not a terrible defense, right? They're just kind of just average. So I'm not going to pick Cook over those guys. I guess probably Ricky Seals Jones.
I think we picked Hooper earlier for the upside. I like Hooper.
Oh, Hooper.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I have them neck and neck. You're right. I think I have Hooper a little bit ahead.
And then what about Ertz or Hooper in half PPR?
Hooper still.
Yeah. I agree.
Good matchup.
Okay, here we go. This will test you. Barkley or Metcalf?
PPR?
Let's assume PPR. It doesn't say, but let's assume PPR.
Oh man. Like if it were me, what would I do here? Because I'm kind of calling for both of them to go off this week. Probably have to play it safe and go with Metcalf.
I agree. How about this one? Barkley or Javonte?
Well, we saved the toughest ones for the very end. Damn. Look, if you need to keep the safest option and put points on the board, it's Javonte. If I'd say go for Barkley more as an upside play if you're in a hole, right, from Thursday night, you win against Dalvin Cook, maybe something like that, because you were in Discord and you knew to put him in your lineup. So in that case, I would go Barkley, but for the most part, I'd probably just put Javonte.
I would go Javonte. As much as I love Barkley, I would go Javonte. The matchup's too good. Okay, this I think is an easy one. Kittle or Knox?
Kittle, like 1000%.
Kittle. Cole Beasley or Westbrook Akini? Very easy one.
But Beasley, like Sanders, Beasley hasn't done much lately. He's had like 2 good games, but really the Buffalo offense is just not throwing to receivers other than Stephon Diggs. So I guess I'd take a chance that Westbrook Akine scores. Maybe.
Yeah, I don't think you'd start Beasley right now. It's like doesn't even have a nice floor this year. It's just like
no, it's weird.
We did that one. Taysom Hill or Lamar Jackson?
I get it, but still Lamar Jackson.
Still Lamar Jackson.
It's close.
Let's do a couple more here. Try to talk about some guy. Okay, T. Higgins or Nick Chubb?
I would say Chubb, but again, you're right. As far as the 49ers on defense could be a little more susceptible to the pass. How much are they going to pass it? That's the question, right? Mixon is going to play. It's hard to say what the Bengals are going to do because you don't know which team is going to show up. But I think I was. I mean, it's hard to bench Chubb, but on paper you should probably go Higgins.
I would go Higgins. I would go Higgins this week. I'm not expecting. I mean, look, Chubb can always break off a 50-yard run right to the house, and then you're like, dang it, I should have started him. But with those 49ers corners out, I like Higgins.
Yeah, Ravens have been really tough on running backs the last couple of weeks. Kareem Hunt is back, so it's not just Chubb anymore. So, yeah.
All right, this is an interesting one. Cam Newton or Russell Wilson?
Well, that is interesting because both guys have really struggled until, last week. Wilson showed signs. He didn't have a great game, right? He showed signs, but now it's Houston. And they don't have a running game. So I kind of want to say Russell Wilson. We know Cam Newton, has that running quarterback who could always just sneak one in for a touchdown and, get you points with his legs. But I kind of think Russell Wilson is going to have a big game.
Yeah, I got to go Russell Wilson. I like Cam a lot this week, but I can't start him over Russ. Now let's see how low you are on Dak. Cam or Dak?
Let me double check. Let me verify this. I do my rankings right on the Fantasy Pros ranker here. I have Cam higher than Dak.
Ooh, all right. I am playing Taysom Hill over Dak in my home league.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if I could go Cam over Dak. I don't know. That's closer for me.
And again, it is close, but I'm not feeling a huge game from Dak. Could be surprising dud.
All right, one more. We've talked about both these guys, but not together. And I think this is actually a tough choice. Mike Williams or DK Metcalf?
I'm going with DK Metcalf. I mean,
even with no Keenan, Mike Williams going to be the guy, number one receiver.
Yeah, but again, I mean, are they going to really force the ball into him all game long? Maybe they could. But I don't know. Metcalf is also a guy. I mean, he just go off. So I'm gonna stick to my guns. I'm nothing if not stubborn. So I'm gonna say that Seattle puts up 48 points because they missed an extra point, and Metcalf has a huge game.
There you go. All right, I would go DK too. I couldn't start Mike Williams over DK Metcalf. I just can't do it. Maybe I'm a sucker, but I just can't do it. All right, guys. Appreciate you guys. Hopefully, those of you fighting for the playoffs get in this week so we can see you all in here next week. Big week next week because it's first round of the playoffs. So cannot be getting these decisions wrong anymore, right? It's the time of year where you got to get them right.
Yeah. May all your players escape unscathed this week. No injuries, right? No whammies. And all good luck for you guys. Want y'all to win. That's kind of our end game.
All right, guys. Good luck.